Senator Antonio Trillanes IV reveals he was approached by Pete Joemel Advincula about the alleged drug links of the Duterte family last year. Malacanang assures President Rodrigo Duterte is in good health and ready for his Japan visit this week after struggling to be awake during the Philippine military graduation rites in Baguio City on Sunday. The Food and Drug Administration approves a gene therapy, which is the most expensive drug in the world. And Morissette and Darren Espanto's rendition of Disney's Aladdin theme song, A Whole New World, reaches the top spot of YouTube Philippines trends list. Good evening. Senator Antonio Trillanes IV denies anew the latest allegations of Pete Joemel Advincula alias Bikoy that he is behind the anti-Duterte video series entitled Ang Totoong Narco List. Nel Maribuhok will tell us why.
Senator Antonio Trillanes IV made this privileged speech this afternoon and clarified his alleged involvement in the OUSTER plot against President Rodrigo Duterte. In particular is the latest allegations of Pete Joemel Advincula, who introduces himself as alias Bikoy. Advincula accuses Senator Trillanes of being one of the masterminds of the anti-Duterte video series entitled Ang Totoong Narco List. According to the senator, priest coordinated with him regarding alias Bikoy last year.
Una nang inilapit sa akin itong si Bikoy ng mga pare noong August last year. Ayon sa kanila, ito raw si Bikoy ay humingi sa kanila ng sanctuary dahil siya raw ay papatayin ng mga taga-sindikato na involved sa illegal drugs. Pinakinggan ko siya. Subalit nakulangan ako at naguluhan sa mga detalye kaya isinantabi ko at tuluyan ng kinalimutan ang usapang ito.
The senator emphasized he is not behind the crafting of the videos.
Matapos noon, I went on a series of speaking engagements abroad when the Ang Totoong Narco List video series started appearing on social media. The Senate records would bear me out na wala ako sa Pilipinas na mga panahon na yon. Uulitin ko, wala akong kinalaman sa paggawa ng mga videos na yon.
Senator Trillanes also revealed the same scenarios happened to him in 2017 when a certain Mina called his office regarding an expose on illegal drugs. But it did not pass their vetting process. Eventually, Mina flip-flopped his statement and later accused the senator. Meanwhile, Senator Trillanes failed to attend the continuation of his rebellion case trial at the Makati Regional Trial Court Branch 150. According to Trillanes' Chief Legal Counsel, Attorney Ray Robles, Judge Elmo Alameda granted the senator's waiver of appearance to fulfill his duties in Senate. The prosecution had Assistant State Prosecutor Mary Jane C. at the witness stand, who recounted how the Magdalo men walked out from the Makati RTC 148's courtroom as the lawmaker's coup case was being heard.
Wala namang materiality yung testimony niya. Ang sabi nila kasi, nahirapan sila sa ibang testigo. So ayaw nilang masayang yung hearing, so ipinresenta siya. So sa tingin ko, she was just a filler.
Trillanes' rebellion case was revived last year after President Rodrigo Duterte issued Proclamation 572 voiding the amnesty granted to Trillanes. The next hearing on the case was scheduled for July 22nd. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
Vice President Leni Robredo calls reports circulating on social media saying she will step down if no Ocho Derecho candidate wins in the senatorial race. Fake news. On her Facebook post, the Vice President reiterates the people must continue fighting fake news. It can be noted that not even one of the opposition senatorial bets in the 2019 midterm elections won. The Philippine National Police conducts investigation on the new allegations of Pete Joemel Advincula alias Bikoy. Vincent Arboleda will tell us why.
The Philippine National Police Criminal Investigation and Detection Group, or PNP-CIDG, are now investigating the new allegations of Pete Joemel Advincula, who has publicly claimed he is alias Bikoy in the video series entitled Ang Totoong Narcolist. The PNP went to the locations mentioned by Advincula in his testimonies, including Grove Condominium in Pasig City, where he allegedly hid, and Ateneo de Manila and De La Salle universities, where he said he and his cohorts secretly met and planned Project Sodoma that allegedly aims to oust President Rodrigo Duterte. The PNP said the move is to verify if Advincula is telling the truth. PNP Chief Police General Oscar Albayalde on Saturday said that Advincula had left Camp Crame after posting bail at the Quezon City Hall of Justice for a estafa case in Baguio City. The PNP has not provided security to Advincula because he failed to formally request for it. General Albayalde said they hope that alias Bikoy would return to Camp Crame to provide extrajudicial confession and evidence for his allegations.
He will be submitting everything upon his return kung babalik siya. And we believe na most probably, dahil yun ang sinabi niya, di ba? Ay kung hindi siya babalik, hindi parang ganun na naman yung sinabi niya, di ba? Pero ang sabi niya, babalik siya. And he'll be seeking for assistance.
The PNP chief added they did not force Bikoy to make a sworn statement because he does not have a legal counsel.
Kailangan niya na may assistance with the lawyer. We cannot get his statement na kung kami-kami lang. That will not hold water. Kaya kung talagang gusto niya magdemanda o mag-file ng kaso doon sa mga taong pinagsasabi niya, then he should give his sworn statement.
The PNP are continuously coordinating with Advincula's family and his cousin, who is a policeman. Vincent Arboleda, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Malacanang assures President Rodrigo Duterte is in good health condition and is ready for his official visit to Tokyo, Japan. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
President Rodrigo Duterte has been the talk of the town again after his attendance during the graduation rites of the Philippine Military Academy, or PMA Mabalasi class of 2019 in Fort Gregorio del Pilar in Baguio City on Sunday. Aside from being late for 2 hours, the president seemed wobbly during the event. He was assisted by the Presidential Security Group and almost fell while boarding a military jeep called the White Carabao. However, Malacanang has been quick to say that the president was just sleepy when he attended the event. President Duterte slept for just more than 2 hours on Saturday and had been busy signing papers and reading reports from various departments, the palace said. The president usually sleeps at 6 in the morning because he is a night person, according to Malacanang. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said this is the reason why the president distributed diplomas to only 2 PMA cadets, to Class Valedictorian Cadet First Class Dion May Umalia and to First Class Danmar Solomon, the GOAT or lowest ranked member, and delegated the distribution of diplomas to the rest of the 261 graduates to Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana. The palace official also ensured President Duterte is in good health condition and robust enough to travel to Tokyo, Japan for an official visit. The president's delegation to Tokyo is set to attend the 25th Nikkei conference on the future of Asia. President Duterte also has a bilateral meeting with Japanese Prime Minister Abe Shinzo. For those who had criticized the president because of his rape joke yesterday in front of parents and top female PMA graduates, Panelo said the public is already used to the president's jokes and that the president just wanted to make people laugh.
Pirmahan ko na. Sino nakasala? Taas kamay. Hindi ako papirma nito. You have to be show to me your face. Who are to be pardoned. Para ring polis, ha? Natuton na kayo sa polis. Ayaw mag-admit, ha? Well, anyway, I'll pass you this time. Because I need good and capable soldiers. And I know that one or two is bound to happen. Pero patawarin ko kayo. Isong it... The number 1 is for rape. Ang number 2 is drugs with rape with robbery. Para sa munting lupa to. Pangatlo, multiple rape of the women of Baguio, the beautiful one. Sino yan? Huwag mo angkon. Okay? Better luck next time. You are all pardoned. Congratulations.
Meanwhile, PMA Public Information Office Chief Major Reynan Afan said less grave offenses pardonable by the Commander-in-Chief are the likes of tardiness and non-submission of assignments in class.
Yung mga offense po na napardon po ng ating Presidente ay yung mga less grave offenses po. Being late, mga not submission of assignments, not in proper uniform, mga ganong klase pong mga offense po ng mga kadete natin po.
On the other hand, serious offenses such as violation of the PMA Honor Code like robbery and rape are unpardonable.
Well, as far as robbery po, that will fall under the Honor Code po. So, hindi po pwedeng mapardon as far as when we are talking about the honor system or honor code is concerned.
Meanwhile, the meeting of President Duterte and Vice President Leni Robredo in Baguio City yesterday also became controversial. This is the first time for the two to meet in person after the 2019 midterm elections period and the issue of alleged ouster plot against President Duterte in which the opposition is alleged to be behind, according to a self-confessed black propagandist.
Vice President Maria Leonor Leni Robredo. Ma'am. Bakit doon ma'am nag-smile ka sa akin ngayon? Hindi na. Ikaw ha?
Every PMA commencement exercise, the President as well as the Vice President are expected to attend. In 2017 and 2018, President Duterte and Vice President Robredo were present during the graduation of PMA Salaknib class of 2017 and the Alab-Tala class of 2018. The two were seen pleasantly greeting each other in these events. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
Several jeepney drivers call on the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board to increase the minimum fare following more than 10 times oil price hikes so far recorded this year. Joan Nano tells us why.
Jeepney driver Robert Inyon spends almost 15 hours a day in driving to earn more money. Robert shared he needs to put in more hours since his 500 peso daily income from driving is not enough to sustain the needs of his family.
Taas ng taas ang presyo ng gasolina, tapos hindi naman nakakasabay ang pagtaas ng pamasahe. Kahit sa minimum fare lang muna sana.
Ramil Rojas, another public utility jeepney driver, shares the same sentiments. Ramil said most of his income from driving only goes to his fuel expenses.
Medyo hirap eh. Kasi may yung sa diesel medyo taas, kaya medyo nabawasan rin yung imbis na iuwi na namin sa pamilya.
Because of this, several jeepney drivers urged the government to increase the minimum fare.
Medyo bitin sa kita din eh. Saka masyado na mataas talaga yung diesel tsaka gasolina. Dapat 10 talaga. 10 piso talaga minimum fare rate.
Based on the Department of Energy's record since January up to May 21 this year, the prices of gasoline have increased 16 times, resulting in a more than 11 pesos increase. The price of diesel has increased 13 times so far this year. Its price has increased by 9 pesos as of today. Although oil prices have increased more than 10 times, the Energy Department has somehow recorded 5 times price rollbacks for both diesel and gasoline this year. This resulted in a 7 pesos and 50 centavos net increase in diesel price and more than 6 pesos in gasoline price. The Energy Department explains this is due to international oil price movements. But the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, is yet to finalize the formula of the adjustable fare matrix. The LTFRB has come up with a formula to hasten the process of adjusting the fare matrix for public utility vehicles depending on the oil price movement. the Department of Energy, the Department of Finance, the Department of Trade and Industry, and the National Economic Development Authority are the other agencies that conducted a study, since oil price is not the only factor to be considered for the adjustable fare matrix formula. The LTFRB has tapped these agencies to balance the interest of both the riding public and the transport groups.
A few weeks ago, I actually asked for that update also. We're still getting word from the other agencies, pero inaano lang natin dito na although yung primary consideration nga yung fuel.
It can be noted that in 2018, several transport groups asked the LTFRB to increase the jeepney minimum fare to 10 pesos, following the implementation of the Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion or TRAIN law, but the board approved 9 pesos only. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Local oil firms have announced a rollback in their petroleum products this week. In separate advisories, Eastern Petroleum, PTT Philippines, and Petrogas said they will slash the prices per liter of diesel by 45 centavos and gasoline by 35 centavos. The price adjustment will take effect at 6 a.m. on Tuesday. Caltex, Sea Oil Philippines, and Shell Pilipinas Shell Petroleum Corporation, meanwhile, have announced the same amounts of rollback in gasoline and diesel, adding that the price of kerosene will also be reduced by 60 centavos per liter. Their price cuts will take effect at 12:01 a.m. on Tuesday. Phoenix Petroleum Philippines Incorporated and Unioil Petroleum Philippines Incorporated earlier announced similar price slash. The oil price rollback will be implemented to reflect the prices in the international petroleum market. Meanwhile, the price of liquefied petroleum gas or LPG is also seen to go down in June. As of May 24, the contract price of imported LPG has significantly declined by $110 per metric ton, which is equivalent to 6 pesos and 40 centavos per kilogram or 70 pesos and 40 centavos per 11 kilogram cylinder tank. However, this figure may still change depending on the May 31 final contract price. U.S. regulators have approved the most expensive medicine ever for a rare disorder that destroys a baby's muscle, control, and kills nearly all of those with the most common type of the disease within a couple of years. Jovic Bermas will tell us why.
The Federal Food and Drug Administration has approved a gene therapy for a rare childhood disorder that is now the most expensive drug on the market. It costs $2.125 million per patient. But for those patients lucky enough to get it, it appears it can save their lives with a one-time treatment. 3-year-old Donovan Wace Garber is one of those patients. When he was born, he seemed perfectly healthy, but within weeks it became clear something was terribly wrong. Donovan started getting really fussy, stopped squirming, and got weaker and weaker. Donovan had spinal muscular atrophy or SMA, a rare disorder caused by a defective gene. The illness destroys the nerves that control muscles. Babies with the most severe form of the disorder typically don't live past their second birthday. But then doctors told Laura and her husband Matthew about an experimental gene therapy that was being tested for SMA. So they agreed to let them infuse Donovan with genetically modified viruses, carrying healthy copies of the gene he needed.
You know, his life is a miracle, and I think that he's here for a reason. And he was given a chance when a lot of kids his age with his diagnosis didn't have access to that. So I think he's going to do anything and everything that he wants to do. I think the sky's the limit.
Based on the EVEXIS studies, the FDA approved Zolgensma last Friday, making it only the second gene therapy ever approved for a genetic disorder. There are currently around 700 patients eligible for the treatment, according to Novartis, and roughly 30 babies are born each month with the disease. Jovic Bermas, UNTV News and Rescue.
The number of Pantawid Pamilya Filipino Program or 4Ps beneficiaries may decline according to the Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD. This will depend on a survey the Philippine Statistics Authority will conduct and the recommendation of the National Advisory Council. May Bermudez explains why.
Annabelle's family was forced to use a jumper or illegal electrical connection since they could not afford to pay for their electric bill. Earning for her 7 children had been difficult back then. But their situation now is different because of the government's Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program or 4Ps.
Ngayon po, pair na po kami. Keyload na po. Totoo po yun. Ayun po yung realidad ng buhay. Magkaroon ka lang po ng isipin na meron kang mapipindot o matatanggap sa gobyerno na grant ay malaking bagay na po kasi 'di ba sa eskwelahan po marami pong project, maraming kailangan bilhin ng mga bata. Nakakatulong po 'yun dahil meron kang hinihintay na pang-budget doon. Tapos baon ng mga bata.
It has been over 10 years since the conditional cash transfer scheme in the Philippines was launched in 2008. Based on the monthly report of Pantawid Pamilya as of February 28, 2019, more than 4 million households or 19 million individuals in 41,539 barangays in 1,482 municipalities are active beneficiaries. But when asked if they will add beneficiaries or widen the program scope after institutionalizing the 4Ps, the Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD said this will depend on a survey and upon the National Advisory Council's recommendation.
It will be reviewed after PSA will render the reports as to what is now the current status of our poverty incidence. It can go high or go low, baka bababa tayo.
DSWD Undersecretary Camilo Gudmalin said the 4Ps program has reduced poverty incidence in the country.
There was a survey conducted by the PSA in 2015 and in that period poverty was reduced from 25.6% to 21.5%. So and based on the analysis of the National Economic and Development Authority, that they attributed it to Pantawid Pamilya.
4Ps is a human development program aiding youth up to 18 years of age in their education and health care.
No, yung benefit size, yung cash grant, na-maintain yung sa elementary, 300 pesos pa rin. Pero yung sa senior high, from 500 ginawa ng 700 pesos. Dinagdagan din ang health grants, no? From 500 pesos ginawa na ngayon na 750.
Aside from this, a monthly rice subsidy has been received by the poorest families who are registered, active, and compliant Pantawid Pamilya household beneficiaries since 2017. 40,000 beneficiaries have graduated from the program. A household may continue to receive program benefits until the youngest of their children monitored for education graduates from high school or turns 19 years old before the start of the school year. Mai Bermudez, UNTV News and Rescue, Makati City.
An unidentified female was found by a roving guard at the South Wing stairway of the Metro Rail Transit or MRT Boni Station with a stab wound in her lower chest. The MRT station CCTV footage shows the woman wearing pants and a black cardigan standing on the corner of the stairway, and it seems that she was having a hard time to breathe. It took several minutes before she fell on the ground and lost consciousness. The MRT station personnel immediately called for medical assistance to bring her to the nearest hospital. The woman was declared dead at past 3 this afternoon. The police have investigations underway on the incident. The Department of Finance appeals to the Senate to approve the proposed tax increase on tobacco and alcohol products. According to Senate President Vicente Soto III, it is possible for the upper chamber to finish the deliberations on the proposals in the first week of June. Nel Marie Buhok explains why.
The Senate targets to begin the deliberations on the amendments of the Sin Tax Reform Act this week. Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez has appealed to senators to approve the proposed tax increase on tobacco and alcohol products before the 17th Congress ends.
We're asking them to see if they can see their way to adopting the alcohol tax bill of the House. Anyway, as I said, the House has agreed to adopt their bill.
The Department of Finance or DOF's appeal is due to huge amounts needed to fund the government's universal healthcare program.
The universal healthcare program estimated expenditure for the next 5 years is 1.4 trillion. The amount we have right now is only 1 trillion pesos. So we're going to be short 400 billion.
According to Senate President Vicente Soto III, it is possible for the upper house of Congress to finish the deliberations on the said proposals next week. Senator Soto believes, however, that the bigger challenge is in the bicameral conference committee, where the versions of the Senate and the lower version have substantial differences. There are 3 versions the Senate proposes. From 35 pesos per pack of cigarettes, they want to increase the price to 60, 70, or 90 pesos. 11 senators have signed the committee report on the said proposals. The senators want to hear the thorough plenary debate on the issue.
I want to bring it to the floor, then I will listen to the interpellations.
Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
The National Bureau of Investigation will release the results of the re-autopsy as well as the toxicology test of a slain overseas Filipino worker in Kuwait after a month. April Senadosa tells us why.
The National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, has finished conducting its re-autopsy on the remains of a slain Filipino worker in Kuwait. The victim is identified as Constancia Dayag, 47 years old, who was laid to rest in her town in Angadanan, Isabela. It can be noted the Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE, asked the NBI to conduct an autopsy on the victim's body with the aim to determine the real cause of her death. According to the NBI, they finished the autopsy after Dayag's remains arrived in the Philippines on May 23. The agency on Monday confirmed they will release the results of Dayag's re-autopsy and toxicology test in the next few weeks.
We will come up with the report in 4 to 5 weeks' time because there are laboratory examinations.
The NBI admitted they had found it difficult to conduct such autopsy because Dayag's organs continued to shrink. The agency further said they had acquired Dayag's sample tissue and conducted swabbing on her body. It was on May 14 when she was rushed to Al Sabah Hospital but was declared dead on arrival due to hematoma and concussions.
We did oral swabbing, vaginal swabbing, and then meron nakuhang part ng uterus, meron part of the intestine, merong fingerprints na kinuha, meron ding nail clippings na kinuha. This is a full forensic doon sa tao.
The NBI official added another autopsy may be conducted on Dayag's body. The Department of Foreign Affairs, meanwhile, will continue providing financial and legal assistance to Dayag's family. April Senadosa, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The Department of Education officially launches today the Oplan Balik Eskwela Command Center to respond to queries of parents and students in line with the opening of classes on June 3. Meanwhile, DepEd says they target to lower the teacher-pupil ratio for this school year. Aiko Miguel explains why.
The Department of Education, or DepEd, is all set to accept complaints and concerns of parents and students in line with the opening of classes this school year 2019 to 2020. This as DepEd officially launches on Monday its Oplan Balik Eskwela Command Center at Dabulwagan ng Karunungan in Pasig City. The center is open from 7 in the morning to 6 in the evening. DepEd is in partnership with different government agencies like the Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, for the construction of 80,000 wind and earthquake-proof school buildings. The Philippine National Police, or PNP, and the Department of the Interior and Local Government, or DILG, to ensure the safety and security in schools. The Department of Health, or DOH, to monitor the health of students, and the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, for orderly and safe school zones in Metro Manila.
For as long as nagpo-produce ang ating bansa
ng mga learners. So mayroon talagang dagdag na pangangailangan. Kaya sinasabi natin increased requirements.
Among the parents who visited DepEd's Oplan Balik Eskwela Command Center today was Agnes Nofre, who asked about the situation of her child, who is an incoming grade 4 student. According to Agnes, her family lacks financial capacity, so she will have to transfer her child in a public school, but they could not get her child's credentials from the private school because they have a 30,000 peso balance.
Then ayaw din mag-accept ng promissory note yung sa private na pinanggalingan namin.
As a response, DepEd approved of having their child to be temporarily enrolled in a public school while completing the credentials. Another walk-in was Sarah Bracamonte, who asked for help about the situation of her incoming grade 9 sibling. She said the school which her sibling was about to transfer refused her sibling's enrollment.
Ang alam ko, hindi lang naman talaga tanggapin yung isang estudyante sa isang school kapag, kapag kunwari may ginawa siyang something sa school o kaya nakikout siya, ganyan. Yung kapatid ko naman, nakuha naman siya ng good mark, tsaka mabuting estudyante naman siya.
The hotlines of DepEd's Command Center are open for those who want to ask for assistance from the Education Department. Meanwhile, according to DepEd, they will hire 10,000 teachers for the incoming school year. DepEd also targets to lower the current 1:35 teacher-student ratio, closely monitor and teach students.
Average yan eh. Hindi kagaya, merong mga selected schools because of limited space natin, nagbabalon pa rin, lumalagpas pa rin doon sa ratio na yon. Kaya ngayon yung talagang pinupursu natin na maging mas mababa yung classroom pupil ratio.
Based on DepEd's data, there will be 27.8 million students this year in 60,000 public schools nationwide. This is 2.95% higher than the number of students in school year 2018-2019. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasig City.
Filipino millennials are more ambitious in terms of the career they want, according to a survey. Many want to be a leader or a boss in their own fields. Monoxon explains why.
Ambitious, aggressive, and tech-savvy. This is how a leading global provider of audit and assurance describes millennials. Millennials are those born between 1982 and the early 2000s, or the generation who grew up in the age of smartphones and social media. The Deloitte Global Millennial Survey 2019 says that many millennials want to be entrepreneurs or leaders in a company, or in short, they want to be the boss. Many millennials are living on the philosophies of FOMO and YOLO. FOMO means fear of missing out, and YOLO means you only live once. And because millennials are tech-savvy, many have become social media influencers, while some are becoming more creative and enticed in vlogging and product endorsing. If you have the skills, vlogging and social media can be a good source of income. You don't need to worry about someone telling you what to do because you are the boss of your own work. In fact, in 2019, technology-related jobs are in demand in the Philippines. Teaching, law enforcement, and defense-related work are not so in demand these days. Even nursing is much more in demand abroad, instead here in the Philippines. This is the reason why there is an inadequate qualified human capital in the Philippines. The Department of Education said they need more than 10,000 teachers this school year. The Philippine Army need more than 6,000 recruits for their 10 new battalions. There is also a scarcity of registered nurses in the country because many prefer to work abroad. Since 2012, there have been almost 100,000 nurses who left the country to work as nurses elsewhere. That is why the government is developing ways to fill in the shortage. The Philippine Chamber of Commerce said that many leading companies are in hesitance to hire fresh graduates in the belief that they lack the skills needed for work. Only 20% of the 70 leading companies in the Philippines have expressed willingness in hiring new senior high school graduates. The irony is, while millennials want to be entrepreneurs and leaders, they lack the skills to achieve what they want. This is where the challenge the Philippine government comes in, to help the Filipino youth to attain their dreams. Skills that will help them qualify to get the jobs they want despite being fresh graduates. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue.
Tourism rating agency GrandVoyage.com has awarded the Philippines as the best emerging destination in its 2019 ranking of major travel destinations in the world. In the category Major Emerging Destinations or Mejores Destinos Emergentes in the Grand Voyage Tourism Awards, the Philippines is followed by Myanmar and Iran. According to its website, GrandVoyage.com is a rating agency founded by Arvin Abarca, a founder of visionary projects related to the online world and technology. It is formed by a team of professionals in the world of tourism, which operates in Spain and internationally since 2012. The life of a Peruvian boy who studied at night under a street light because his house had no electricity changed unexpectedly when a businessman from Bahrain decided to build a new home for his family and remodel his school. Nina Armilio will tell us why.
Yaqub Yusuf Ahmed Mubarak, an entrepreneur and philanthropist from Bahrain, saw on social media sites the video of a 12-year-old boy from Trujillo who did his homework under a lamppost and traveled to Peru to meet him. Upon discovering the needs of Victor Martin Angulo Cordova, the 31-year-old businessman offered to build a 2-story house for the boy's family and remodel his school, whose facilities were about to collapse.
First of all, I have a plan is to separate the classes from the elementary and the middle school. And second thing that I would like to have a new class, a new computer with the new generation class in this school in the name of Victor. And the third thing that I really want to change these things, and then we will go to make many plans to make this school very, very ideal and protected for all the kids.
Victor has been able to maintain good grades at school, despite his disadvantages at home. The youngest of 3 siblings, he dreams of being a police officer. He says he wants to become a member of law enforcement because he wants to put an end to corruption in his country. The effort of the child to study in such adverse conditions was rewarded by the philanthropist with a gift of a wallet with $2,000, which he handed over to his mother. Mubarak plans to return to Moche, Trujillo, where 5% of the population can't afford electricity, to attend the inauguration of the house and the child's school. Nina Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue.
For the news abroad, Nigel Farage's Brexit party stormed to a victory in a European election, riding a wave of anger at the failure of Prime Minister Theresa May to take the United Kingdom out of the European Union. Jovic Permas will tell us why.
Nigel Farage demanded a seat at Brexit negotiations on Monday after his new party swept to victory in the United Kingdom's European Parliament election, warning that he would turn British politics upside down if denied. Farage, a bombastic 55-year-old commodities broker turned anti-establishment supremo, won by riding a wave of anger at the failure of Prime Minister Theresa May to take the United Kingdom out of the European Union. As May's Conservative Party prepares to pick a new leader, Farage had a warning for the next Prime Minister, a say in the United Kingdom's biggest decision since World War II.
Whether it's me or somebody else in the Brexit party isn't really the point. We as a party have campaigned for this for the last 6 weeks. We've got a mandate. We should be part of the team.
After repeated delays to Brexit, Farage said the United Kingdom had to leave the EU on October 31st, the current deadline for Britain's parliament to agree an exit deal. Farage would prefer to leave without a deal.
If we don't leave on October the 31st, then the scores you've seen for the Brexit Party today will be repeated in a general election, and we are getting ready for it.
While no British leader would allow Farage near EU divorce talks, his proven ability to poach Brexit supporters from both the Conservative and Labour parties will stiffen a belief among leading Conservatives vying to replace May that they must go for a more decisive split from the EU. Jovic Vermas, UNTV News and Rescue, London, United Kingdom.
Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump said on Monday he would work with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe to bring home Japanese citizens who were kidnapped by North Korean agents decades ago. Trump, on a 4-day state visit to Japan, was speaking at a meeting with some of the relatives of people abducted. They were abducted to train North Korean spies, North Korean detectives have said. Abe has vowed not to rest until all abductees come home and sought Trump's help on the issue. Australia's Labour opposition has chosen Anthony Albanese as its new leader after the party suffered an upset in the nation's general election. Previous leader Bill Shorten resigned on 18th of May immediately after conceding the election to incumbent Prime Minister Scott Morrison. Albanese, a veteran politician, was elected unopposed as his successor. He vowed to rebuild Labour's vote. A British climber has died on the slopes of Mount Everest in Nepal after reaching the summit of the world's highest mountain. Meanwhile, at least one person was killed and 11 others injured after a magnitude 8 earthquake struck northern Peru. Kath de Maraos explains why.
In Peru, a magnitude 8 earthquake killed one person, destroyed dozens of homes, and disrupted some oil operations as it rocked Peru early on Sunday, authorities said. The quake, the biggest to hit Peru since 2007, was felt across the country and in neighboring Ecuador and Colombia after striking the sparsely populated region of Loreto in Peru's northern Amazon. Peruvian President Martin Vizcarra said the hardest hit areas were the towns of Yurimaguas and Tarapoto. He flew over large swaths of jungle. A 48-year-old man was killed in the region of Cajamarca after a boulder struck his home, emergency officials said. Peru's National Emergency Center said there were at least 11 people injured and more than 50 homes destroyed. Several schools, churches, hospitals, and clinics were also damaged. Peru sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, where the majority of the world's seismic activity occurs. In China, a 13-year-old child has been killed and 14 others injured after a section of stage collapsed at a theater in Jiangsu City of East China's Fujian province Saturday evening. The tragedy happened during a dancing competition for teenagers being held at the theater, with dozens performing on stage at the time. After the accident, rescuers and medical workers rushed to the scene and found a girl stuck underneath the collapsed stage. After more than 20 minutes of efforts, firefighters pulled the trapped girl to safety. All the 15 injured victims were sent to hospital for treatment, with a 13-year-old later being confirmed to have died. An investigation into the cause of the accident is currently underway. And in Nepal, a British climber too weak to descend from Mount Everest died on Saturday, officials said, the 8th climber to die on the world's tallest mountain and the 18th in Nepal's Himalayas during the current climbing season. Hiking officials attributed most of the deaths to weakness, exhaustion, and delays on the crowded route to the 29,035 feet summit. Robin Haynes Fisher, 44, died in the so-called death zone known for low levels of oxygen on descent from the summit, a tourism department official said. He is the 8th fatality on Everest in the current climbing season that ends this month. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue.
And back to the news in the country, President Rodrigo Duterte mulls of resigning if son Davao City 1st District Representative-elect Paulo Pulong Duterte will insist on speakership bid. During a speech yesterday, the president also hinted about his health. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Itong si Paulo, sabihin ko sa kanya, if you run for the speakership, let me know. Kasi kung tatakbo ka, magre-resign ako. Kasi marami na tayo. Then yung kapatid mo mayor, tapos quite really for someone who's so uneasy about this thing. Though I think it's a democratic practice. Hayaan mo yung tao kung sino gusto nila.
This was the statement of President Rodrigo Duterte during the oath-taking ceremony of newly appointed government officials in Malacanang this afternoon. Aside from this, the chief executive also revealed some names who approached him before and after elections to support them about their speakership. Among them are Taguig City Representative-elect Alan Peter Cayetano and re-electionist Marinduque Representative Lord Alan Velasco, who talked to him before the elections. While later Representative-elect Martin Romualdez and re-electionist Davao del Norte Representative Pantaleon Alvarez approached him and hinted him about their speakership bids right after the elections. However, the chief executive insisted, though he knows them well and regards them as friends, he will remain neutral on the issue.
Sa speakership, wala akong kinakampihan. I am on my last 3 terms. Gusto ko lang to do good. And if that good is not good for everybody, well, I'm sorry. Yan lang ang makaya ko.
Pulong in his Facebook post clarified that he did not mention seeking the House Speaker post. Meanwhile, President Duterte also appealed to his co-workers in the government to help him serve the country for the welfare of the Filipinos. The President also hinted about his health condition.
Ako, lahat na ng sakit na tinatapon na sa akin, kulong, Sabi ko, tinanong ko yung Diyos Sabi ko, God, ano ba itong presidency? Patagalan sa mundo? O patrabaho tayo dato and by the time we become unproductive, we should go out of this universe.
Rosa Licoz, UNTV, News and Rescue, Malacanang.
People of all ages competed in one of Japan's quirkiest events, a pillow fighting contest. Kath Dumaraos will tell us why.
The Japanese may be known for their neatness, particularly when it comes to making their bed in the morning, but all social norms went out the window during qualifying for the All-Japan Pillow Fighting Championships in Shizuoka Prefecture. In the small fishing town of Ito, 150 kilometers south of Tokyo, teams gathered from across the region to compete in the event that has been one of Japan's quirkiest since 2013. Started by a group of high school children in Shizuoka, the game is based on the age-old ritual of pillow fighting when away from the supervision of teachers and parents at a sleepover or on a school trip. The game starts with all 5 players sleeping under duvets on futons before the whistle goes, and they leap to their feet and reach for a pillow. A mix between dodgeball and chess, the aim is to protect each team's king from being hit by pillows whilst trying to hit the opposition's king during 2-minute sets. 1 player on each team can also use a duvet as a shield. Saturday's regional tournament contained 16 teams vying for the qualification for the national competition, which has 64 entrants and is held in February. The teams, made up of local businesses, high school basketball teams, and local athletic clubs, attracts a wide range of participants.
Through track and field activities, the team have been in touch a long time.
I joined the tournament because I thought we can be strategic and aim for a championship. I'm very familiar with pillow fight as I used to do it when I was a child.
Not just a pillow fight, but I want to make it a match in the future.
Team Blank White, who contained 9-year-old Soda Wamanobi, the second youngest competitor, won the tournament. As their prize, the team received an array of local produce as well as the all-important qualification for next year's nationwide tournament. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue.
And those are the reasons behind the news this May 27, 2019. On behalf of Alex Baltazar and Angelo Castro III, I am William Theo. And before we close, we will recap with today's significant sound bites. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.
Una nang inilapit sa akin itong si Bikoy ng mga pare noong August last year. Ayon sa kanila, ito raw si Bikoy ay humingi sa kanila ng sanctuary dahil siya raw ay papatayin ng mga taga-sindikato na involved sa illegal drugs. Pinakinggan ko siya. Subalit nakulangan ako at naguluhan sa mga detalye kaya isinantabi ko at tuluyan ng kinalimutan ang usapang ito.
Itong si Paulo, sabihin ko sa kanya, if you run for the speakership, let me know. Kasi kung tatakbo ka, magre-resign ako. Kasi marami na tayo.
Yung turnaround travel time, babagal. If you would notice, pag may sasakay sa loob ng UV, bababa, yung buong sumasakay sa isang linya ng UV, bababa muna, bago babalik na naman, sasakay. O kaya yung bababa ay nasa likod, yung driver bababa muna, bubuksan yung pintuan sa likod.
We're asking them to see if they can see their way to adopting the alcohol tax bill of the House. Anyway, as I said, the House has agreed to adopt their bill.
Average yan eh. Hindi kagaya, merong mga selected schools because of limited space natin, nagbabalon pa rin, lumalagpas pa rin doon sa ratio na yun. Kaya ngayon yung talagang pinupursu natin na maging mas mababa yung classroom pupil ratio.